Okay, welcome back, Autocad students. This is Chris Dennis, and we're going to create a couple of layers today. This is number 13 in a series of tutorials. Alright, so what I've done here is I've opened up a brand new drawing of AutoCAD. It grabbed the ACAD default template like it usually does, and it gave it a name called Drawing 6. So we're pretty much starting with a blank palette here as far as a new drawing. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is zoom all, which is going to bring me to the 12 by 9 limits that are already set. And the next thing I'm going to do is turn off the grid, and I'm going to turn off my O snaps. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have for layers in this default template that usually opens when you open AutoCAD. So I'm going to come up here to the layer pull down under the layers panel, and it looks like we only have layer 0. And whatever layer that you see in this pull down that's showing is the current layer. So right now layer 0 is the current layer, and it happens to be the only layer that we have here. Alright, so if I draw some lines, I'm just going to start drawing a couple of lines here and maybe a circle. You'll notice that those layers, those lines actually land on layer 0 because that's the current layer. Alright, but let's say we want to add a couple of more layers, maybe a dimension layer to put our dimensions on, and maybe an object layer. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we're going to go up to the layer manager icon, which is this one here in the upper left. It looks like a stack of paper with a little box there next to it, and most of these icons up here that look like stacks of paper have to do with layers. Okay, so when you see any kind of an icon that looks like that, it has to do with some type of layer managing. Alright, so let's click on this, and it brings up the Layers Properties Manager dialog box, and you can see here's our layer 0. It's got a green check to it, which means it's current, and it's telling us its color, its line type, which is a continuous line, the line weight, and printing and viewport options, which we'll get into later on. Alright, so let's just make a new layer. So we're going to come up here to the icon that looks like a piece of paper with a sun in the corner, and I click on that and it makes a new layer, and it's ready right now for us to give it a name. If we don't give it a name, it's going to call it layer 1. So I'm going to just start typing, and I'm going to type the word dimension because I want a dimension layer, and then I'm going to come over here to where the colors are, and I'm going to pick on this color box, and that brings up the color palette for all the layers. And what I'm going to do is make it one of the most common colors. These first 6 or 7 colors are numbered, but they also have names. The rest of these colors are just known by their number. Okay, so I'm going to pick this color here, color 5, which is also called color blue, and that attaches that color to that layer dimension. Alright, so let's make one more layer. Let's call it object, and I'm going to pick on the box again, the color box, and I'm going to make this red. Okay, so now we have the object layer is red. All 3 of our layers have a continuous line type. In the future, I'm going to get into a tutorial where we can change line types to, say, like a hidden line or a dashed line, phantom line, that type of thing. But for now, this tutorial, we're just creating layers. Alright, so we've created our 2 layers and we've given them some colors. Now it's going to close this dialog box. And let's make the dimension layer current. So I'm going to come up to the pull down, and I'm going to pick on the word dimension, and now that layer is the current layer. So let's add a couple of dimensions to the layer. So let's see, where's our dimension pull down here? Here we go. Alright, how about a linear dimension? I'm going to put my O snaps on. And you can see these dimensions are landing on the current layer. Okay. Let's try a quick radius dimension. All right. You could put dimensions on any layer that you want. It's whatever layer is current when you do the command is the layer that the objects will land on. So in this case, they are landing on the dimension layer. Okay, let's draw a few more lines. And I'm going to make the object layer current first. And I'm going to come over to the line command. And there we have some lines on the object layer. Okay, so that's pretty much how you can switch back and forth between making different layers current. You may notice that you have a new layer that just appeared all by itself called def points here. That layer is created when you put dimensions in. Just be careful not to draw on that layer because usually that layer is set not to print. Okay, it's part of the points that they don't want to print on dimensions. So we'll leave that one alone, but you can switch whichever layers you want to be current by just using this pull down here, probably the quickest way. Okay, I hope that clears up how to make layers, and until I do more with layers in another tutorial, you could give that a try and try putting a few things on different layers.